A very good morning. It's the last Friday of the month of June in the year 2024. Good morning, and you're watching the first news bulletin of the day right here on TV3 on your day. My name is Josh Quinn. Top of the stories this hour. MP for Asante Akim North urges NPP flag bearer Dr. Mamadou Bawumia not to be cowed into selecting Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his running mate. National Labour Commission refuses to grant audience to Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana CETAG for failing to call off their strike. Also coming up this morning, Ghana Health Service heightens surveillance at country's entry points as Nigeria declares health emergency over cholera outbreak. And also we'll bring you the latest updates on the ambulance trial. We've got details of these and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279. Now let's begin with some politics. A member of the New Patriotic Party National Council and Member of Parliament for the Asante Akim North constituency is urging Dr. Mamadou Bawumia not to be cowed into selecting Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his running mate. The MPP flag bearer Dr. Mamadou Bawumia is reported to have informed the President about Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his choice for running mate. The Asante Akim North MP spoke with TV3.
As I speak to you now, I'm a member of Parliament. I have not had the opportunity to discuss this with anybody, let alone the presidential candidate. And if it's the case that presidential candidate is consulting, I would think that he will also want to consult his parliamentary group, because we are his generals going to battle, and you cannot neglect your generals and be talking to the men on the field. And I'm not sure that is a strategy the presidential candidate want to adopt, because we are fronting his campaign. Whether good or not, the determinant of our success or otherwise depends on the efforts that we put in. So if Vice President is just talking to members of Parliament and talking to people in the precincts, I think that it wouldn't be a good strategy.
But is this name running around from the circles of you, the majority caucus, as supposedly an accepted one?
I will not say anybody has been accepted. We don't accept candidates in the media. We accept candidates in the National Council meeting when a nominee has appeared before the presidential candidate has nominated somebody, and we decide on that person. So for now, whatever is in the media is for consumption of people who rely on the media. But me, as a party person, I will be very constitutional in this approach, and I will want to listen to the party speak through the National Council.
Will he be a preferred choice for the majority?
That if it was for me to choose, I would choose him. Why? He's not my preference. Me.
He's not your preference?
Yes.
Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is...
Appiah is saying that he is not my preference. But that doesn't mean that he is not qualified.
Do you have a preference?
Well, if there was an opportunity like that, I would express a candidate, however acceptable or otherwise, to our presidential candidate.
What candidate
I would want somebody who will be open with the people on the ground, who will be able to deliver the votes, and who would also submit to the presidency, and who will also be important in bringing Parliament closer to executive. I would probably select somebody who is more acceptable by the generals going to the war, the parliamentarians. We should find somebody who, if the presidential candidate is not there, he will hold the hand of a member of Parliament and go and conduct campaign in that member of Parliament's constituency. I don't see that happening in this equation.
He doesn't have the quality.
He cannot hold my hand. So why would I say that I prefer him? He cannot hold my hand.
Andy Appiah spoke exclusively to my colleague Komla Kluche. And now the majority leader has cautioned MPP MPs to be wary of comment about colleague MPs in the wake of the selection of a running mate. Asante Akim North MP and Apia Kubi had earlier expressed his revulsion at the supposed selection of Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. But Majority Leader Alexander Ponyo-Makin is cautioning MPs to be measured in their comments on this very subject.
The times we are in are very sensitive times. We have an election just ahead of us, and we should be mindful of how we express certain views in the public space. So I would want to encourage colleague members of parliament that we are in this together. There is no perfect person in this world. The language we use, it may not be helpful. So that is all my advice. Let us please be measured in the language we use. The flag bearer of the party has the confidence of the party, and I believe that he would use the structures of the party to come up with certain decisions that he has for us. So let us wait and at least respect the leadership of the party.
And away from politics, let's delve into labor, because the National Labour Commission has declined to hear Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, for failing to call off their strike. According to the NLC, it can never proceed to allow CETAG sit in its meeting if it continues to be on strike. Meanwhile, the NLC is in court to secure a court injunction against the CETAG strike.
The Labour Commission was emphatic that it will not listen to the leadership of Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CETAG, until it calls off a strike. Director of Human Resource and Administration at the National Labour Commission, Dr. Bernice Welbeck, said CETAG must call off.
Once there's been an intervention, first of all, by the Commission meeting them the first time and making a directive, they are enjoined to call off the strike. But they have flouted, as it were, that directive. So the Commission.
In case they don't call off and they continue to be on strike, what will be the other alternatives for the Commission to do?
Well, when we get there, the Commission will decide. So that is the position now.
Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur, urged leadership of CETAG to call off the strike.
This is a national institution mandated by law passed by Parliament. When we were told that we were not complying with an arbitral award, we were not happy. So all the steps that we had to take, we have been able to do a number of them. We are left with the last one. Whatever the case, I think engagement is the way forward.
The president of Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, PRINCOF, Professor Tintonu, was sad about the ongoing strike of CETAG.
Surprised because we thought they are coming here because of the NLC awards, and therefore if NLC, the same people instruct us or order us to do, we should respect it, then we'll come to discuss. So I was really surprised they haven't obeyed that one. And
a labor consultant, Austin Game, called for mutual cooperation between government and CETAG to resolve the grievances.
Both parties have not responded properly, so they must go back and sit together and resolve their differences before coming to the Commission to report. Meanwhile, the case is in court for enforcement, and that's very important and significant. But we'll prevail on CETAG people to call off the strike, to enable both parties to sit and talk, just like we've done in the case of the lab people.
Well, let's just on the labour front, because the Nurses and Midwives Educators Society have given the government a 7-day ultimatum to take action pardon me, regarding the promotion of members of Face Industrial Action. The national chairman of the society, Adamu Bakina Matthew, explains their intended action. Take a listen.
There's no appointment letter. There's no appointment promotion letters. And you can imagine, if you attend interview for 2 years and you've not gotten your promotion letter, you are losing money. Let's look at it. There's no any promotion letter that will backdate up to 2 years. It means you've lost money. And let's look at our normal currency business. CD dollar ratio. If somebody is paying you 1,000 cedis, 4 months time, give you that for 1,000 cedis. It's no more 1,000 cedis. So our concerns are that we are not asking for much. Promotion is part of the human resource practices and the motivation for you to do your job. So why should we beg for promotion? So we are saying that within 7 working days, if nothing is done, we respect a lot. We've submitted a lot of documents on this. We've called the head of health institution. We've talked to our father. We know they may have challenges.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're watching the morning news on TV3 here on UD. And now the National Labour Commission has directed the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to resume negotiations with the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union on July 3. The leadership of the laboratory scientists has expressed satisfaction with the ruling of the commission.
We had a meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission yesterday, as well as the Ministry of Finance. And we have resolved to meet on the 3rd of July to conclude negotiations and report back to the Commission on the 11th of July. So we are hopeful that these engagements have been very fruitful. We have made progress, and we are assuring our membership to keep calm, that at the end of the day, what we hope for will be achieved. We presented delay in the negotiation process, as well as lack of financial clearance for our non-mechanized members. In fact, in our engagement with the Ministry of Health, they have provided solution to the clearance issue. And what is left is the condition of service negotiation. And we are hopeful that by the close of day on the 3rd, we'll have a conclusion on that one.
And now manufacturers of cement, producers of raw materials for cement, and suppliers, sellers and distributors of cement could face jail term of up to 3 years should Parliament pass the Ghana Standards Authority, that's the Pricing Cement Regulations 2024. The LI is being championed by Trade Minister K.T. Hammond. The controversial LI seeking to regulate prices of cement in the country is facing stiff resistance from cement manufacturers and importers who cite lack of consultation prior to the promulgation of the LI. Already, the Ghana Chamber of Cement Manufacturers has petitioned Parliament over the legislation. Well, this is a development of great concern to us, and so we'll be following up and update you subsequently in our bulletins. And now the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, and the Alliance for Green Revolution are leading a sectoral engagement to create more job opportunities for the youth. The idea of the multi-sectoral coordination platform is to influence the youth policy ecosystem to impact inclusion and work opportunities in agriculture and adjacent sectors for financially disadvantaged youth.
With Ghana's unemployment rate hovering at 19.7% and 50% underemployment, the National Development Planning Commission is determined to reverse the trend. A multi-sectorial committee will now see to the coordination of all agencies and ministries, with particular emphasis on youth, women, and persons living with disability. Country Director at AGRA, Dr. Betty Annan, says the lack of coordination among the various ministries is hindering efforts at creating more jobs.
We have different ministries that have some level of responsibilities on youth employment and then also issues when it comes to women. But most of their interventions are sort of siloed. So we believe that bringing them together would help coordinate things, have more unity, have more focus, and then issues can then be discussed, and then actions taken to holistically address whatever challenges that all of them together come up with.
Meanwhile, Principal Planning Analyst at NDPC, Stephen Ampimdaku, says the setting up of a steering committee will address the challenges of youth unemployment by promoting youth involvement in agriculture.
It becomes difficult when certain institutions try to drive their agenda, and each institution may have various activities that they are playing. Therefore, constitutional mandate given to NDPs for enable them to coordinate all this policy, give us the idea, okay, no, this is a good intervention coming from AGRA. AGRA needs the backing of what? A government mandatory institution to drive what? This activity. And this will also fell into the visions, President Vision 2057, trying to make sure that Ghana will have a low or possible, there won't be any youth which is actually idle in those things.
And now Ghana has recorded 50 suspected cases of cholera this year. Although all cases have tested negative, the Deputy Director of Public Health in charge of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Dennis Laye, is entreating the general public to take responsibility for their individual cleanliness to avoid an infection. The call follows the surge in cholera cases in neighboring Nigeria. Here's a report by Sarah Apankro.
The last time Ghana recorded a cholera outbreak was in 2019. As of June this year, more than 800 suspected cases of cholera, with 16 deaths, have been reported in 30 states out of the 36 states in Nigeria. This has sparked concerns in some quarters among Ghanaians who are suspecting a possible transfer of the disease into Ghana. According to the Deputy Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Dennis Laye, surveillance in the country is high for any cross-country infection that may be incubating before a patient travels and falls ill here in the country.
Our public health priority diseases, cholera is one of them. The last time we had a confirmed case of cholera in Ghana was 2019. Incidentally, the year before, 2018, we had 2 cases that were among passengers who traveled across the border. So we can still diagnose cholera, but it will not spread or result in large-scale outbreaks. This year, for example, we've suspected about 50 cases, and tests have been negative for all of them. The surveillance system is active.
Dr. Dennis Laye further explained that the issue is not about the cases, but how it will be managed when they are reported.
But if we look at how the disease is transmitted or how people can get cholera, then a lot of it is individual responsibility. So the first thing is that it's something that is spread through contaminated food or water, primarily. So if you eat food that is contaminated or contains a germ that causes cholera, then you may get cholera.
Choko is one of the most densely populated communities in the Greater Accra region, with poor sanitation concerns. There are areas where open defecation, choked gutters and stagnant waters, which are breeding points for cholera infections, are not missed by visitors. And residents seem helpless in the event of an outbreak of cholera.
It comes, we will all get it. I am tired of complaining.
No, can't be. I'm going to connect Tiafi. No,
someone has connected fecal matter from his house to this place. If you say, they will insult you.
Since 2019, Ghana is yet to record any case of cholera. However, things like this are a cause for worry that must be checked. Sarah Apenko, TV3 News, Choko.
And now the court hearing the proceedings of the financial loss to the state in the procurement of ambulances for the state has admitted an alleged dismissal letter of the third accused, Richard Jakpa, from the Ghana Armed Forces. During cross-examination, the Deputy Attorney General tendered the document as evidence and made Richard Jakpa read portions of the said letter. Despite objections from the businessman's lawyers, the court admitted the document, citing Richard Jakpa's admission of knowledge. Here's a report by Lord Edu Asare.
During cross-examination by Deputy Attorney General Alfred Toyabwa on the letters of credit leading to the purchase of the ambulances, Richard Jakpa told the court that the government breached some clauses when it bypassed his company and established the letters of credit and paid directly to Big C Company Limited. He explained that from that point, he and his company could not be held liable to causing financial loss to the state, since it was not the duty of government to have raised the letters of credit directly to the principal, which was Big C Limited. The prosecution further submitted a document it noted was a letter of dismissal issued by the Ghana Armed Forces in 2007 and asked Richard Jakpa to read portions of. But his lawyers objected to the letter, citing its irrelevance to the trial. The court, however, admitted the document after noting that Richard Jakpa had indicated his knowledge of same. After a rigorous 2-hour cross-examination, the Attorney General, Godfrey Aboadame, took over from his deputy. In establishing the accused's role in causing financial loss to the state, the Attorney General noted that Richard Jakpa dealt directly with the Ministry of Health and Finance and enjoyed 28% of the amount paid for the purchase of the ambulance, but Jakpa explained that he won it on merit. NDC Communications Officer Sammy Jamefi called out the AG after the proceedings.
Did Ato Forsen have authorization to write those letters or not? His boss, the Finance Minister CETAG, has come to court to say, I authorize him. They are saying that even though you say you authorize him, give us paper. How many ministers of state write letters to their deputies when authorizing them on a daily basis to take action or when delegating responsibility to them? Master, is that the standard practice? That if Godfrey Dame is giving his deputy to Yeboah a delegated responsibility, he must always write. CETAG says, I authorize him.
Businessman Richard Jakpa spoke to the media.
What that letter was alleging was not upon which I was released from the service. That's even the surprising thing about it. I was released under a clause in our Armed Forces Administration volume. It's a law, which states that I am being released for lack of application or interest. Lack of application or interest has nothing to do with misconduct and service terminated, which is purely under the discretion of the CDS.
The spokesperson of the Attorney General, Wilberforce Asari, also spoke to the media.
From the evidence that was put across in court today, Big C did not even have the ISO certification to even deal or to even do this sort of conversion from a regular vehicle to an ambulance, even at the time that the ambulances came into the country in 2014.
Hearing ended with presiding judge Justice Efia Sewa Asare-Botwe calling both parties, that is the accused persons, their lawyers and the prosecution, into her chambers for an in-camera session. The hearing has since been adjourned to Tuesday when cross-examination of the third accused person, Richard Jakpa, would continue. Lodi Dasari, TV3 News, Accra High Court.
Now, 9 criminal cases expected to be heard at the Kumasi High Court today have had to be called off due to the absence of jurors in court. The jurors reactivated a strike of unpaid allowances. Ibrahim Abubakar has been assessing the impact of the strike on justice delivery.
7 murder cases and 2 rape cases were to be heard here at the Kumasi High Court on Thursday. Unfortunately, all cases have had to be adjourned because jurors are on strike. What this means is that from now until when they resume their services, all criminal cases that require jury trial will have to be on hold, and this may likely delay justice delivery. Albert Aka is the leader of the jurors in Ashanti region.
From last year, August till now, the money has not been paid, and it's the same money that we used to come to court. And if allowances are not paid, how can jurors come to court? So these are the issues. We have written to CJ. Copies for Supervisory High Court to registrar, and those who matters that until the allowances come, we come pre-finance our coming to court.
With the legal calendar coming to an end on July 31, justice seekers are worried the continuous withdrawal of services by these jurors may have a dark consequence on justice delivery, and they want government to intervene swiftly.
10th of July. They have postponed the hearing of my case because the jurors are on strike. We don't know the cause, but we call on the government to reach a consensus with the jurors for the sake of some of us and the sake of justice. The longer it takes, the more cases compound.
Meanwhile, the Asukariman District Court has adjourned to July 29 after Lil Wayne's case regarding his involvement in an accident that claimed the life of a 3-year-old. This was after the prosecutor requested for more time to seek advice from the Attorney General's office. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.